When you have a non-right triangle, you can't use the Pythagorean theorem, you can't use SOHCAHTOA, and you can't use 45, 45, 90, and 30, 60, 90. So you can use the law of sine or the law of cosine, okay? So the first thing you see is that you don't have a right triangle here. Now I draw all my triangles the same. They all look like really equilateral triangles, but I'll put the numbers on them, and you've got to go from there. You got to deal with what I give you. Little a is always opposite big A, so angle A and side A are opposites of each other. You know how to do that, right? Little c, that 10 would be little c. And then I have little b is across from big B. So I'm going to start putting in my information. I have sine of 62 over A equals sine of 50 over 10 equals sine of, does anybody know what big B is? This guy right here? So big B is 68. We already found him. Sine of 68 over little b. Now, if you notice, for every one where we're going to be using the law of sine, there has to be a full fraction of those three fractions. And we do have a full fraction. Who is it? The second one. You see it? Mm-hmm. So we're going to use that fraction to find a. And what we do here is that we cross multiply. And I'm going to write it out first. People always grab their calculators and then they get in trouble. So when you multiply that, you always put the a in front so it doesn't get confused with 50a, and sine of 50 equals 10 and sine of 62. Got it? And then we're going to divide by sine of 50 to leave the a alone. And you should be able to find little a pretty easily using your calculator. Go ahead and you do it. When you're finding little b, do not use the information you just found for a, because if your a is wrong, you're going to be using a bad piece of information to find another piece of information. So always use your full fraction. Sine of 50 over 10 equals sine of 68 over little b. Now 68 is the biggest angle in that triangle, right? Mm-hmm. So the side is going to be what to 11.53 and 10? Bigger. So you know you got to have a bigger number. So we've got 10 sine of 68 equals b sine of 50. Divide by sine of 50. And we have b equals, it should be 12.10 rounded to two places. Once you find all the letters of the triangle, you have solved the triangle. When they ask you to solve a triangle, you're finding all the missing pieces. Okay? If I only have one angle, I can't figure out the other two. I know they add up to 180, but I don't know how much. They could be anything. Mm-hmm. But I have little a is 6, little b is 10, and little c, we don't have little c. So I'm going to have to use, this is the full fraction. Does everybody see that's going to be the full fraction? Sine of 48 over 6 equals sine of big B over 10. And the only thing, I can't find C's yet because I can't find the angle and I can't find the side. So I have to find big B first. All right, then that's going to open up the sky for me. So when I cross multiply there, I get 6 sine of big B equals 10 sine of 48. And I'm going to divide by 6. And sine of big B is going to be equal to. Okay, when we put that in the calculator, it's a triangle that doesn't exist, and we're going to learn about that another day because I made this up. So I'm going to change this to an 8, and it's going to be 0.9909 is the answer. Everybody make sure. Did we find B?
No, we found the sine of B.
We found the sine of B. When you're looking for an angle, and you should have done this in geometry 2 years ago, I'm not expecting you to remember, what button did you push to find the angle? Does anybody? Second. So you're going to hit second sign of that answer. You can just hit second answer, and it's going to give you 82.25. And go ahead and round it to 2 places. So big B is 82.25 degrees. So we know big B.
And then little c is?
Big C. You can find big C. So you've got 180 minus 48 minus 82.25 is 49.75. So now we've got to find big C. So we have little c. So we have sine of 48 over 6 equals sine of 49.75 over little c. Do on this, I have the 2 sides. I'm going to figure out what the letters are of those 2 sides. So they give you angle A, and the 5 would be little b. Does everybody understand that? Because it's opposite big B. And little c would be the 6. So then I'm going to go here. There's 3 choices of formula. I'm going to look for the one with a BC, which is this first one. Very good. So it's going to be, the area of that triangle is going to be 1/2 5 times 6 times the sine of 70 degrees. And that should be, I think, 14 point something.
5 times...
14.10.
So just type in 5 times 6 times sine divided by 0.5?
No, times 0.5.